All right, Joe, what do we do?
Shut the fuck up. You make sure those levels are golden and say not a goddamn word.
They're fine, I swear. Don't hit me again.
I did not hit that.
Catching on so quick. All right, so if you're the guest, we need to get the guest reaction, which is what...
Okay.
What are your thoughts
What are we doing
and
right
feelings
Yeah,
about the room?
how are you feeling now that you have been exposed
How's
to
your soul?
an hour and 40?
Well, I don't know where I am or who you people are, so I don't know how to answer that.
Rude. Well, no one's introduced us.
Yeah,
You're the host.
Yeah, well, you guys are the hosts. I mean, that's... I mean,
I've never been on a podcast
Look, I'm
before.
sorry.
Is this how it always goes?
I'm just the sound guy. I've only just
Shut
been
the fuck
informed of
up.
this.
So I was saying earlier that this is going to be the worst episode of this show. It's true.
It's turning out so far.
Yeah.
Well... All right, Jack, I have to do it.
No.
Welcome to DeRazzled.
No fucking goddamn Joe. Vince, say the words.
Welcome to DeRazzled, the something razzle dazzle ya.
Well, show ended. Bye, everybody.
That was the quickest episode we've ever put together.
Hold on one second. They're all too fucking loud.
That's what'll save the episode. Just turn us down.
You turned it off, you son of a bitch.
Oh, Christ
No, it's
almighty.
good. All right. So we know where we are and what we're going to do. We don't know who you are, who we are.
Well, I think we're DeRazzled, and I think it's supposed to be a show where you fix movies that have Razzies.
Except this time.
I was wondering. I didn't think The Room ever actually won a Razzie, but...
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
I mean, it never even made it that far,
Oh,
which
no.
Oh, shit.
is a shame, really. I think they missed out. But this was your first time watching The Room.
Yeah. Who am
I don't know.
I? Okay.
I'm doing my very best on my very first time.
Yeah, Joe, do introductions. There. I'm commanding the sound guy to do introductions.
Well, okay. Well, host Vince DeStefano has just commanded me to give introductions. I am demoted sound guy Joe Nealis. With us as always is special guest, never been here before, Jack Culbertson, and other host Emily Manno.
Apparently, this is my show now. I mean, I'll take it. I love it.
Did you not introduce him?
And then
That's fine.
And Vince is
I
here.
did that first.
Oh.
And mystery voice, Vince DeStefano.
I said apparent host Vince DeStefano has given me has commanded me.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
And I think that actually works, yeah. Those roles. Because if you're host, you can then tell him what to do.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what you've been wanting this whole time.
I mean, apparently. I mean, I didn't know I had this kink, but hey, here we are.
So, demoted piss boy Joe Nealis.
Yes, master.
Can you ask Jack what his current...
I'm right here, you son of a bitch.
No,
No, you shut the fuck up.
he's not
Yes,
talking.
get him.
The new bit is that we're not talking directly to Jack.
Oh.
Apparently.
How the tables have turned. Sound levels are
be
fine,
so
by the way.
stupid.
Jack, how's your soul?
Yeah.
It's getting worse. I didn't think it would after that movie, but it is.
Highlights and lowlights. Rose, Bud, and Thorn of watching The Room.
Yeah.
Ooh, on theme.
So I'm definitely not introducing the episode. Wink. But we watched The Room, which we're doing because Jack, which is me, has a lot of shit going on right now and doesn't have the energy to do a full episode without dying.
Yes.
And because The Room has been requested by you sick fucks a number of times.
A number of times.
We are doing that. However, the difference is that I don't know anything about The Room when we went into this. I've never seen it.
Jack went in as blind as a person could, basically, in 2022.
Yeah, excluding like 3 memes, that's all I knew about The Room.
What were your 3?
The one where he goes on the roof and he's like, I did not eat her. It's just gonna sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I did not eat her. Oh, hi, Mark. I knew that one. I'd seen the one where he goes into the flower shop once, but completely forgot about it.
Hi,
but like,
doggy.
holy shit,
I'm
is
really
that
glad
good.
that was
It's
basically
really-
fresh.
That's so good.
And I think I'd seen them play football in their Texas. Other than that, I knew nothing going in.
Well, you told us yesterday you did know one thing going in from. Sorry, sound guy having to do a quick.
Can we abandon this bit? It's
that's
really
fine.
Yeah, okay. So no, you did tell us one thing you knew yesterday, which was that the editing equipment that was used was like 20 years old or something.
Yeah.
But that is such a non-point that
There's so much better trivia. There's so many things to know.
Because I said yesterday when we were trying to record, but I didn't have water.
Yeah.
And couldn't poop. Not because my bowels are backed up. They're fine.
They're fine. Yeah.
But the toilet itself was
issue.
turned off.
And your yard is greatly fertilized now.
It's fantastic. Belinda at least 3 times encouraged me to get a compound bucket. And I was like, why is this the kink I'm finding about right now?
I really needed to know about this before.
The situation just never presented itself. You know?
Lucky me. But the algorithm was like, hey, you've been looking at stuff for the room, your room adjacent. Did you know that they edited the room on 20-year-old software? I think it was like Windows or iTunes Media Maker, whatever it is. But I was like, all right, respect. Like he had these tools available to him, which was nothing. And he was able to put a feature-length movie together. And that was one in that category. And then I sat and watched the movie.
Yeah.
And it's mostly garbage. It's all garbage. Why did I say mostly? It's all fucking garbage.
It's all garbage.
There's
Good
like
Lord.
moments where you could isolate a second in time and not hate the thing that is happening. I, for one, really like the piece of art by the doorway because it reminds me of 1970s ice cream parlors.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
So
This
that was
is one
good.
of the few pieces of art that was not spoons.
Much of the art hurted me.
Yes.
I didn't mind Michelle's performance. I saw her working with instincts. I saw she had breath control. I saw that she was suffering through terrible dialogue, but trying to make the most of it. She was taking beats. She understood what punctuation was.
That's true. Yeah.
And she was acting within what should have been the level of reality. It's unfortunate that everybody else was not in that same level of reality, but she tried. So you're okay, Michelle.
There's like
I've got no problem with you.
4 different planes of existence that just kind of collide.
There's the Gecko Man that somehow went above Tommy Wiseau.
Oh God!
I don't
fucking
understand.
Mike.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Gecko Man is
Mike,
the guy who realized that chocolate is the
It's
symbol
a symbol
of love.
of love, yeah.
Chocolate is a symbol of love. Yes.
And couldn't eat
He's
chocolate.
the one who said me underwears, which are
He
just
did
words
say
that
me underwears.
go together.
But there's just something about the way his jaw moves that's very
It's half
reptilian.
his head, really.
It's like partway between reptilian and malfunctioning Chuck E. Cheese animatronic.
yeah.
It's
And he gets some. I don't know how a person does this, but he got part of the cake stuck on his tongue, and he was kind of like.
a little bit.
So those are the parts that were not as bad.
So which were roses and which were buds?
Yeah.
Michelle's acting plus that single piece of art on the wall plus
Okay.
Yes, those are roses.
that Denny looked like John Connor from T2.
Oh my
Plus.
God.
And you know what? I don't know what's wrong with me that I'm saying this, but I actually felt bad for Denny at the end. How did I get attached to a character?
Especially
Jack.
especially like the creepiest fucking character in the entire goddamn
I felt
movie.
for Denny, and I don't know why.
I'm gonna be honest. I think it's Stockholm syndrome.
Ooh, it could be. You want to care for somebody in that movie,
Right,
and
'cause
you're
I
just
don't
like,
care
I can
about
latch
anyone.
on to anybody. It could be Denny. I guess that's true.
So if you, like Jack before today, have not seen The Room, it is a 2003 film directed by, written by, starring, produced by, financed by,
edited.
partially like a,
Okay.
He did hire some people.
There was an editor, but he had a heavy hand, largely in saying no, we don't cut anything.
Yep.
And yeah, this came out in 2003, and it follows a man named Johnny who has everybody in his life betray him, or so he perceives. His fiance cheats on him with his best friend, and shit ensues. I don't know.
His maniacal,
There's antics.
maniacal bitch future wife, I think is what you had to say.
I think that might be exact phrasing. Yeah. From like.
She became so evil. Like, evil.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I hope that at some point during this episode we can talk about, like, how problematic this movie was.
Oh yeah,
That's a central part of the
We
whole
can
thing.
absolutely do
Okay.
that.
yeah, we're definitely gonna do that.
Because a lot of that cringing was, the acting and the filmmaking, but it was also the words they were saying.
Oh yeah, Tommy Wiseau doesn't like women,
No.
It's very
At all.
It's very clear. There is
especially future wives who fucking cheat on you with your best friend.
Yeah.
/ mother-in-laws who are dying from breast cancer 1 second and then
never mentioned
It's
again.
fine.
potentially just convincing their daughter like he has a house, he's got a car, he'll provide for you, and you can't provide for yourself.
No, you're a woman. You can't do that. He's your financial stability.
I love it.
Greg Sestero, who plays Mark, wrote a book called The Disaster Artist.
Greg Sestero, actor / line producer.
Yes,
Slash line
actor
producer.
/ line producer for this
So
film.
he should have been double fired.
He should have been double fired, but no. He's Tommy's best friend.
IRL.
In real
Kinda.
life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so when I
so-
look at the poster for the Disaster Artist film, the not James Franco.
Yeah,
is-
he's the Dave.
The other
Franco.
Franco
Okay.
is
is
Greg.
supposed to be Mark. Yes,
Gotcha. Okay.
or supposed to be Greg. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so he wrote a book called The Disaster Artist, which tries to trace what led to The Room, the experience of filming The Room, and who the fuck Tommy Wiseau is.
Okay. Because from the trailer for the Disaster Artist, I'm like, oh, they're buds.
Yes,
They kind of are.
They're-
Okay.
Well, it's a very problematic
It's a
relationship.
complicated situation.
Yes.
Okay.
It's almost like there's a whole book about it.
Yes.
So you all seem to have a lot of knowledge about this shitty film, and I have many questions. So how about I ask some questions and maybe there's some answers?
I think
love a
that's a good
Q&A.
idea.
Why is it called The Room?
Because things happen in rooms.
That's honestly,
That is the correct answer.
yeah, that it literally like
Because human behavior happens in rooms.
you see.
I think also Tommy's original idea for this was a play.
That's
that
true.
It
is
was
all
supposed-
one location.
It was
the
going to be a
apartment.
play. Yeah.
Why wasn't this just a play?
He had big Hollywood dreams. He won't come true. Be actor.
Yeah.
He make movie.
God damn it.
You do a pretty good Tommy.
Thank you.
Yeah, mine's definitely Arnold. Okay, that wasn't an answer, but it did. There were words
This is
in a
the
row.
answer that Tommy himself would give
No,
you.
this thing is like it's not an answer, but it is the answer.
Okay,
Alex Trebek would have awarded points for that.
why were there so many characters that were unnecessary, such as the guy who says something about pockets?
Keep your stupid
Keep-
comments.
keep your
Oh no, Greg.
Well, that's
Mark.
Mark. Mark is
Oh, Mark's important.
Mark's important. But
Do you mean
oh,
do you mean the random guy at the end who
Yes.
says when is the baby due?
So
Yes.
that character's name's Steven. So okay, there is actually an entire reason for why Steven exists.
Yeah.
Which he didn't in the original script. So
Okay.
do you remember the psychologist friend Peter?
Yeah.
Who fell down while they were playing football in tuxes?
He died?
No.
Oh.
See, that actor had a whole nother commitment that he needed to leave for, another project that he was cast in. And he told Tommy Wiseau this months before the time came for that to actually happen and him to leave
Right.
the room. So he comes and he tells Tommy, like, hey, I can't do this anymore. This is my last day.
I have like one more day.
I have like one more day, and like I warned you months ago, and Tommy got like really angry and bitter
Right.
and like, defensive about it. But he was also like in the makeup chair trying to like solve some unnecessary problem that he was perceiving with himself. So he really was in the worst position to like try and like strong arm this actor to like, stick
Right.
around. So he fucked off. He left, and he was then thus not invited to the premiere, if I'm not mistaken. But to make up for that, those lines that were read by that were performed by the Steven character
Sure.
were supposed to be Peter. So rather than pushing them off to an existing character, he
Right.
made a new one.
Did not introduce him.
Did not introduce him at all. Like I don't think they said his name once.
My gut was like,
don't
oh,
think they
give it to the lizard man, but then I remembered his acting.
Yeah, they
and
could have given it to Mike,
They
but
could
no.
have given it to
They could have, but
His jaw malfunctioned after that
Yeah.
last scene.
Imagine Gecko guy saying when is the baby due?
Or
He would be
even
chewing on something the entire time.
Yeah.
give it to the one competent actor on set. Michelle.
She was already.
I gotta give props to the woman, what's her name, Carol, I think.
The actress.
Yeah, who plays the mom.
I did not like her.
You are incorrect.
Yeah, I forget her name. I actually like her as well.
I will say
I think she worked her ass off with that shitty character that she got.
Her first scene was really bad, but she did get better. I'm going to assume that first scene was also her first day on set, and she just was like, what is happening?
So that set was not air conditioned.
No.
And there was a point where she did pass out, so I'm not sure.
Taken to a hospital briefly.
Yep.
She was okay, but
he wouldn't give water because water. It's just like,
it's like that's not what we do in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tommy nearly killed her. So I don't know which takes.
Okay, well now I'm mad.
So
he's not a good person.
You're just gonna get more angry, honestly.
It's one thing to make like a shitty movie. It's another thing to like abuse your actors. And like I just like looking at him.
He did a lot of shit that's pretty.
Speaking of abusing actors,
yeah.
Speaking of abusing actors, Greg Sestero was not the original person cast for Mark. I mean, he was like the role was technically written for him because he's Tommy's best friend, but they actually did cast somebody else.
So you're saying that Mark was not a professional actor?
No, well,
he is.
Actually, yes, he is.
He was trying to find work.
We'll get into that in a little bit, but there was another actor. His name was Dan. I forget his last name, but Tommy would only refer to him as Don. Mm-hmm. And he wanted Greg to play Mark so badly that he decided to have the camera crew not actually shoot when Dan Don was acting. And then he would have Mark come in under the guise of a screen test and do the Mark lines until it all got blown up in his face and people figured out what was happening. And he was just like, "No, I want."
You mean after
Greg.
the first hour?
No,
Actually, it took a while.
He still chose this other. He chose Dan Don.
He chose Dan Don.
And he still was like, "Greg, but can you do it?"
Yeah.
And I think Greg kind of agreed, if I remember correctly.
He offered Greg an asinine amount of money.
It was the money for sure,
and a new car.
That's right. And Greg was, just starting out. But
okay. Next question. Money.
Yeah,
money.
Guess the budget.
Money.
Guess.
Yeah,
guess the budget.
That is. Yeah, we're definitely gonna need you to guess that part.
Oh God, I'm so bad at this.
How much went into this movie?
We're talking just the making of it or the marketing?
Total.
Let's just do, because we have separate figures for each.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would be able to do this with $3,000-$4,000, but I know it's more than that.
This is not a ramming speed picture.
This is not a ramming speed picture. So they pay their actors. Mm-hmm. Cool. As we did last time.
We did. Yeah, we paid our actors last time.
Oh fuck! I actually worked for you guys for free.
Yeah, idiot.
Don't say that shit on the air.
We got the friend discount. I'm gonna guess 200,000.
Okay.
Who wants to break it?
Vince is really okay. I want to do it. I do really want to do it.
All right. Here's my second guess.
Okay.
Like it should have been 200,000. Okay. It shouldn't have even been that, but I would have been like, okay, I'm upset, but I'm not like outraged. I'm going to be mad if it's above 2 million.
Yes.
Ooh, you're gonna be mad, Jack. It's $6 million.
Yeah.
For making this movie.
$6
million. He purchased all of the equipment. He did not rent a single thing.
Why would you need
because it's a big Hollywood movie. And he's a legitimate director.
It's a classy production.
Did he pay himself?
Probably. I don't know.
I don't think he needed to.
Yeah,
he doesn't need to.
Well,
the money just kind of showed up and just kind of kept showing up whenever he needed it to show up.
Yeah, no, so that's the thing. There is no financial backer for this. That $6 million came from Tommy.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So there were.
I love your face.
This
is so good.
There's so much lore to this, and it's just it's so good.
So whenever people would ask him to spend money on things, he would say, "Oh, I have to run it by the producers," or
there
whenever
were no producers, were there?
Or well, hold on, or whenever people were like getting hired or fired, you'd have to run it by the producers, or the producers don't want you here anymore, and there were rumors of there being other people involved, one of whom was an elderly woman who had no involvement in film at any point before, during, or after this production. And one was a man who had been dead for years.
Okay, I need you to stop for a second.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here.
That sentence was a lot.
Take a beat, you know? There's a lot happening.
We've done some bad movies before, you may have noticed, and sometimes the source of the money is questionable. This is our first time where the producer's been dead the entire time. And the other one is a bag lady.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all just, it's all Tommy.
But it's all Tommy. Why would he choose the identity of a dead person?
To be mysterious.
Actually, so that dead person was like a mentor father figure to him.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we pointed out his name when it popped up in the opening credits, if I'm not mistaken.
Caffrey.
Yeah.
Dave Caffrey.
Dave Caffrey.
Okay,
Yeah. And the woman was Chloe something.
Yes.
Do we have a reason for the bag lady?
I don't remember.
I can't remember
I think he they had some kind of relationship.
Sexual?
I know. Very detailed. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, that detail I don't actually
Do we know how he made his money?
No.
We kind of.
There
kind
are...
of.
I have a research segment about this.
Great.
About how he made his money.
So
Yes.
we'll hold on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think of some other questions that I have about this movie that aren't strictly like, why did this narratively happen?
Sure.
You mean in history?
Yeah. Why was this made? Yeah, that's a question for sure.
The rooftops.
Mm-hmm.
Baffling.
Yes.
The layout of the apartment, baffling.
Yep. It's a 15 by 15 room, I think.
Straight up and down. Multiple people live there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. He wanted so badly for like the establishing exterior shot of what he was thinking of as a house to be a mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Like they got yelled at by the police for shooting out front of a mansion. And Tommy's trying to argue with the cop and be like, "No, I disagree with you. This is wrong. We get to film here." And everyone else is packing up the gear like,
no.
"Let's go.
Tommy,
We're sorry, officer, we're
pack
leaving."
that shit up and you show up 3 days later on like a Sunday in the afternoon. Idiot.
No, that's when they ended up going and like filming like that like that discount Full House like opening shot. Like
so confusing.
Yeah, it's really unclear if like, they talk about it as though it's an apartment, but it's like also supposed to kind of be their house, but like all these people have access to it, and
Mark lives in the building.
And Mark lives in the building,
as does John Connor,
as does Denny. Yes. Much like people under the stairs. Just
oh my god. There wasn't enough leather daddy in
there
this,
was
I will say that.
Not nearly
It
enough.
was the one mistake he made.
Just the one.
What was the deal with the like the green screen on especially the rooftop shots?
That's what I was getting to. Was the greens? I mean, like you said it was like 2002.
2002. Yes.
It was $6 million.
Uh-huh.
So the green screen, it looked like. So what they used to do instead of just green screen is if it was just like, say there was a window behind me and like behind on the other side of the window there's like a city, they would just give the space between a window and the wall. Okay, nobody's gonna take that. And
sweat dropped down my balls.
thank you.
Yeah.
No, it's hot in this room. I understand.
Not mine.
For everyone listening at home, Jack is sitting on an ice pack.
A little behind the scenes of DeRazzled for literally every episode.
DeRazzled brand ice pack for your balls coming to Redbubble soon. But they would basically make like a wallpaper of the city, and for the most part, as long as you're not focusing on it, you don't notice. And it felt like they had gone to a shitty printer and done like a shitty print job wallpaper of San Francisco.
Well,
so it was not green screen?
That was green
it
screen.
was green screen. It was green screen. So if I remember from the book correctly, they built the rooftop set in the parking lot of the building that they were shooting in, and that had the green screens around it. Then, when they went to shoot B-roll in San Francisco, they literally shot
from like sun up to sundown, just every different kind of climate.
From a rooftop.
Yep.
Like, that's actual San Francisco sky you're seeing superimposed over that fake rooftop.
What were they filming with their 2002 phones?
Good question.
Ooh, great question. Ooh, what were they filming with? So Tommy is the first director ever to use
I need to
different.
pause you for 1 second.
Absolutely.
Just to mark in time that this is the moment that my eyes started to twitch. All right, you can
Oh
continue.
no, Jack.
Now, God.
Yeah.
I'm surprised at how far I made it.
That is fair. There's a lot of troubling information. So Tommy's the first one ever to use 2 different formats. When filming his production, he did use an HD camera and a 35 millimeter, kind of pushed together and kind of built.
You mean literally?
Like actually, they were constructed together, basically duct taped as one.
He had it specially built for this shoot.
And purchased all of this was all bought.
It was all bought. So he bought
created this contraption.
So he bought 2 professional grade cameras, 2 sets of lenses, 2 lighting setups.
Mm-hmm.
But why?
Big Hollywood movie.
Big Hollywood movies, Jack.
Literally the answer for.
I hate this episode.
If you want to know why, it is typically big Hollywood movie.
But that's not
But it is.
how Hollywood.
But he's the first one who's ever done this.
Yeah.
So
So that's important. And that's all he needs to. That's all he cares about. It's not why no one has ever done it before, but.
Can you imagine being the guy that gets the special order slip for strap 35 millimeter film camera to HD camera? And like at the same
time,
you're shooting like
together?
2 different cameras,
No,
right? Like
no.
just want it. Oh, you want me to like sticky glue these 2 things together?
it's an abomination. Yes.
So the actually the
Two great
people that he
tastes.
bought everything from,
Yeah.
the people that he bought everything from owned the lot where he shot. So
Yes.
they threw that in for free because he bought.
He bought his
Bought
expensive ass.
everything. Yeah.
I'm gonna need to move past this, or I'll be stuck here for a while. The camera thing, because I don't know how to suss this out with my brain. So confused. What do you? I don't even know. Like, what do you? Why? Why would you have just like 2 of the same fucking thing?
Yeah, no, everybody else knew that too.
Yeah.
Where do you think James
we all-
Cameron got
everyone-
the idea for the 3D camera he built for the Avatar movie?
Cinematic pioneer Tommy Wiseau.
And you,
He's a trailblazer.
You're shooting it digital, so you have that footage theoretically immediately.
Yeah.
But then you also have the 35 millimeter that you're sending away to be processed. So you're waiting for this film to come back. You've already got the footage in the digital version. Then that comes back, and you do what with it?
You throw out all of the HD footage and you just mostly use the 35 millimeter.
I'm pretty
That's
sure that's
the
what
correct
happened.
answer.
That is what exactly he did.
Then why would you need the...
Big Hollywood,
Hollywood movie.
Jack.
Oh, man.
Do you think this camera business counts as a thorn for you?
Thorn in his heart.
Next thing.
Next question.
Oh my god. Next question is anything besides his technical ability.
Okay.
Do we have any idea how big his crew was for this? Because it shouldn't have been any
It
bigger.
rotated?
It fluctuated.
Predictably, he's not an easy man to work with.
You know, actually, I want to know more about him because I don't know much about him other than he is a mystery man and nobody knows where he's from or where his money's from.
Okay, yeah, no, I can.
Is this a good time for your bit?
Great.
So yeah, I did some research on the origins of Tommy Wiseau. Okay. So the disaster artist Greg Sestero's book is most of our information. We've
Actually, hold that thought.
Oh yeah.
Let's go to a quick break and then come back and we'll jump into the mystery man that is Tommy Wiseau and his background.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I am just drunk enough to talk about the origins of Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I have so many questions. One, how old is he?
Great.
That's a good one.
So I do have an exact answer for this.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you like the full preamble and everything that I went to.
Great.
This. So
It's got a whole thing.
my thought behind the research that I did, which is who is Tommy Wiseau, right? Specifically, there is a story in The Disaster Artist that Greg Sestero tells where Greg's mother is afraid of Tommy. As like Greg is getting ready to move off to LA, Tommy is the like guiding force behind this.
Okay.
Greg's mother is like, Tommy's gonna kill you.
Okay.
Yeah. And, Greg's not really... Greg's like, Mom, get off my back, etc.
Like you do.
Yeah. The first visit to Tommy's San Francisco condo before they go to L.A., they're walking through the garage. He sees Tommy's car, which is like this Mercedes. And then next to it is this like busted down, flattened tired, very dusty car that has the Zodiac symbol, the Zodiac killer symbol.
Oh, yep.
Fingered in dust on it. And Greg asks the same question of, hey, what the fuck? And Tommy says, oh, I don't know what that is.
He's like, I don't know what that symbol means.
Yeah, so Greg wonders if his mother is right, and is he going to die as Tommy the Zodiac killer? Which made me think, who are all the people that Tommy Wiseau could be? We don't know where he came from. We don't know where the money came from. All that stuff. So, this actually is kind of a true crime podcast today.
Yep.
So Tommy has consistently lied about his birth year, his birthplace, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
He also obviously has a shit ton of money. Even without the room, he's got the Mercedes. He's got an apartment in LA. Like at the time that the room is about to be filmed.
Okay.
He's got an apartment in LA. He's got a condo in San Francisco, and he's got this Mercedes.
And bodies in each one of them.
I suppose.
In the walls.
In the walls.
He didn't rent any of the camera equipment. He bought all of it. Like, dude is just endless money. Oh, there's also one more. So you asked about the promotion budget for this?
Yeah.
There is. I have one piece of this, which is he rented a billboard in LA
for
5 years.
5 years.
For 5 years.
God.
It was up until 2008.
And it was really close to, I can't remember which theater it was really close to. I don't think it was close to the Chinese theater.
No, it wasn't the Chinese theater. It was another big theater
near
in
Sunset
LA.
Boulevard.
Well, that actually kind of answers my question as to how this piece of shit got noticed. Because I've watched shitty indie films before, not with this flavor.
There was a whole premiere.
So yeah,
Big Hollywood movie.
he has this billboard in LA for 5 years in a very prominent place that no one quite knows what it's for, because it's just Tommy's face.
It's a close up
really
of
big.
It's a close up of one of his headshots.
Is it the same as the cover of
Yeah.
the
It's
Yeah,
that-
with
It's that shot.
highlighting his
On a billboard.
eye.
I would think that would be like an anti-drug.
Yeah, the really menacing Tommy face is the
Yes.
one that was up in LA for 5 years. So that billboard cost, for that full 5 years, $300,000.
I would have expected more, honestly.
I
for
actually
that length
expect
of
more,
time.
but
Yeah. So anyway,
I guess that's not in.
that was 2003 money.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fair point.
And so the man is made of money, but nobody knows where it came from. For his birth, he's claimed a lot of different things. When he was talking to Greg, he told him, so when they were friends in the late 90s, early 2000s, he said oh, I'm in my late 20s like you.
Yeah, he said, I'm your age.
I'm your age.
Yeah, he said I'm your age, which then he at one point thought that Greg was 16. Even though he was 20.
Okay. I have some concerns for Denny.
Yeah, right. For birthplace, Tommy claimed to be from New Orleans.
Yeah.
People would ask him about his accent, and he'd be like, "I'm from New Orleans."
He also
Which part?
he also either
swamp.
paid for or wrote a bunch of blurbs talking about how the maker of Hollywood's big new indie feature is a ragin' Cajun.
Yeah.
That was the promotional material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Those were the quotes.
Yeah. So later, as they got closer, Tommy started to open up to Greg and tell him some sometimes contradictory stories, but ones that seem closer to the truth.
Okay.
So what he told to Greg was that he was born in the Eastern Bloc of Europe during the Soviet era. He idealized the U.S., eventually moved to France, and was abused by employers there. His brother was they were without papers, and his brother got sent back.
Was
to
it
the
a
Eastern
brother
Bloc.
or a cousin?
I can't remember now.
I think it was a cousin.
Some
cousin?
yeah.
Okay. But anyway, went to France, was abused there, hated it. moved in with, he had some family in Louisiana, Chalmette, or Chalmette, I don't know.
Chalmette, yeah. And he would go to New Orleans on occasion to hang out in the French Quarter, and he loved that. But
So eventually he moves to the U.S., goes to Chalmette, but also like works a bunch of shitty jobs there, hates it, moves to L.A., not to L.A.,
San Francisco.
Moves to San Francisco, and things become even hazier from there, more contradictory, etc.
Yeah, in the time between him moving to San Francisco and becoming friends with Greg, it's murk.
Mm-hmm.
It might just be because of the overlap with New Orleans, but listening to you describe the quote-unquote origins of Tommy Wiseau is a lot like when I was researching the origins of Lee Harvey Oswald. And how it's a lot of globe jumping. It's a lot of like, well, he said, she said. We have some paper trail here. We don't know the exact motivations.
Yep.
They didn't have a good time here. They did have a good time here. But somehow they ended up killing the president. And
yeah,
that's where I assume this story is going.
I did not shoot him. I did not.
So for the money speculation, the biggest thing that people assume, so Tommy claims that he made his money by like selling like Korean junk fashion in the U.S. and like just built up a whole bunch of money that way.
$6 million worth.
More than that, yeah. But
enough to like buy a bunch of prominent real estate in San Francisco.
Yeah. Well,
holy shit!
And like tear some of it down and rebuild it up into other things.
Yeah. It turns out that he actually owns a bunch of, or at least at the time of filming, owned a bunch of San Francisco property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we get the FBI on the phone? Because I got some questions.
They may have been. I don't know.
Right. So the thing about the money is so that's Tommy's side. There's a lot of speculation about the money is that it's like a money laundering for the mob. That's like big theory on the internet. Greg Sestero doesn't buy this because would you want to trust Tommy Wiseau with your money?
With literally anything.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. But that would explain the like just throwing money down the toilet on the everything.
Yeah.
I personally wonder if like maybe street fashions. So that Korean goods that I was talking about. Tommy owned a company called Street Fashions USA. And that's what like the buildings that he owned were like headquarters and storefronts for those things.
Yep.
I wonder if Street Fashions USA might have been money laundering and that maybe Tommy was more reliable before something changed his life forever.
Possibly.
Yeah. Like there's references to car accidents and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, but speaking of which, the other one that people guess is that maybe he made all of his money in an out of court settlement with like, if he got in a car accident with somebody rich. And they just said,
I didn't think about
here's
that.
a bunch of money, make it go away.
Yeah.
Maybe all this, maybe all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, the whole Zodiac killer thing got me thinking.
Okay.
Could Tommy Wiseau be the Zodiac killer?
You may have thought that's where he's going with this.
That's exactly where I went with it initially. I've gone a couple places with it.
I'm excited for one of them in particular.
So in the Zodiac killer operated in Northern California in the late 60s.
I know it.
Yeah. For any listeners at home, 5 known victims in San Francisco, potentially up to 37.
37.
That's the number claimed.
God.
They kind of do this thing where they're like, which are the unsolved cases? Oh, it might have been that then.
Oh, gotcha.
Zodiac killer, famous for sending a bunch of like taunting letters to newspapers and police. 4 of them were ciphered. 1 cracked within a week. Another one cracked recently in 2020.
Yes.
And then 2 still remain unsolved. But the Zodiac killer was never identified, so...
Well, they think they know now, but a lot of people are like, is it?
Right, so is it Tommy Wiseau?
Is it?
Evidence 4. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, no.
I was just going to ask, so how old is he?
Right, so evidence 4... evidence 4 is Greg's mother's intuition.
Oh yeah, Ma thinks he's the killer. Solid evidence.
The Zodiac symbol on the car.
I mean, that is sketchy as hell.
That is pretty sketchy.
The fact that no one really knows how old Tommy Wiseau is. Could he have been killing in the late 60s? And the San Francisco connection. This all was happening in exactly where Tommy lived.
Here's why I don't think he's the Zodiac killer.
Please.
If he were the Zodiac killer, and based upon the movie I just watched, he would not have stopped killing.
Oh, man, I was just going to say that lets Ted Cruz off the hook, but that, honestly, a better point.
Em, can you think of any reasons why Tommy Wiseau would not be the Zodiac killer?
Not off the top of my head. I feel like you're looking for an answer.
No, I just wanted to get voices from all sides of the room.
Fair.
Yeah.
I don't think he could pull off the hood. And I feel like, so the Zodiac killer in the famous sketch of him is wearing pretty thick glasses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think
He does wear some pretty big glasses.
Tommy Wiseau.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He's known for big sunglasses.
oh well, shit. He's Zodiac killer.
Yeah. So
That's it.
the evidence I have against Tommy Wiseau being the Zodiac killer. Tommy originally told Greg, like, "Oh yeah, I'm your age, right?" And
Right.
nobody buys that. In a 2010 interview, he said that he was born in 68 or 69. Slightly more plausible. In 2016, there was a documentary that found some documents related to his birth. This was covered up until 2020, when Tommy Wiseau sued them not to produce this, at which point it all became public record.
Right. Yeah.
Tommy.
Damn it, Tommy.
So he was born in Poznan, Poland.
I called it.
You did call it.
Yeah, in 1955.
He's as old as my dad. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Is your dad the Zodiac killer?
The jury's still out.
His actual arrival date in the U.S. is unknown. He has a naturalization application to the U.S. in 1984.
Okay.
But he claims to have worked a bunch of dead-end jobs in New Orleans, or in Louisiana first, etc. So there is some time in the U.S. before the application in San Francisco.
This really is like looking into Lee Harvey Oswald.
Oh yeah.
It is kind of uncanny.
But most of any of that time before the application is hearsay. Sure. It would have made him a relatively young Zodiac killer, but also
he's ripped as hell.
he's ripped as hell.
Well, though that was a development specifically right before they started filming too, because he wasn't for a long time, and then after he disappeared for some time, came back and was just jacked.
Mm-hmm. Fuck. So we're gonna have to write this movie, right? Mm-hmm. Like the life and times of Tommy Wiseau.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, the disaster artist didn't get into enough of it, so
no. And
how do we fit
but
this in
it's
the
not
Knife-Breaker
told from his
universe?
point of view, because how could you get into that mindset? Whose POV is it gonna be from?
Knifebreaker.
One madman to another.
I think putting it from the perspective of Emily Manno.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously.
And her run-ins with...
Me and Tommy.
Thick
Tommy
as
and me.
thieves.
Are we gonna reveal that?
Yeah.
No?
That was the real twist.
There's a lot of evidence against him being the Zodiac killer.
Right.
But what if he forged those Poland documents?
Ooh. What if those are a red herring?
Yeah. Really, what is a piece of paper? Anyway,
Tree
this also got me
remains?
thinking other figures that he could be.
Right.
One that I've thought about is DB Cooper.
Yes!
Okay, well now we're on to something.
This is mine and Becca's favorite.
Yeah. So background on this for the uninitiated: DB Cooper hijacked a plane in 1971, parachuted out of said plane with $200,000, which is now $1.3 million, and was never found. There is the evidence for this is. So I was looking at this initially before I saw that XKCD had years ago made a comic about how Tommy Wiseau might be DB Cooper.
Oh my god, they did?
Yeah.
Randall, you madman!
Right. So the comparison in the XKCD comic is DB Cooper vanished with large sums of money, real name and age unknown, idiosyncratic speaking, specifically negotiable American currency, and fate unknown. Tommy appeared mysteriously with lots of money, has odd idiosyncratic speaking, and has a background that's unknown. Also, West Coast connection, traveling north to commit the crime. Not that much of a stretch.
So he could be both the Zodiac Killer and D.B. Cooper.
I thought about going for that angle at the end. I like my ending a little bit better, but
Sure,
I'll wrap up my D.P. Cooper section. Evidence against it is the aforementioned naturalization records state that he was born in 1955. That would make him 16 at the time of jumping out of this plane.
I could see a 16-year-old doing some stupid shit like that.
D.B. Cooper was profiled at being between 30 and 50
Piss.
in 1971. So
He's a big 16-year-old.
A big 16-year-old.
And also, language-wise, D.B. Cooper was described as having no discernible accent, which is super not true of Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
He has at least 3 discernible accents.
Yeah. But I feel like the age is technically possible. He could be a middle-aged looking 16-year-old hijacking a plane and parachuting
He's got a baby face.
into history. And, maybe he was affecting an accent for the last 25 years.
Brilliant. Maybe that's why it's not placeable, because it's
just
not
making it
real.
up.
Yeah.
I started to look into other figures that he could be. Was he Babushka Lady in the background of the Zapruder film? I went through a few phases.
Right, yeah.
Eventually, I landed on what is my personal favorite, which is Lestat de Liancourt.
Never help me with that one.
The vampire, or one of the vampires from Interview with Vampire by Anne Rice.
I heard you say Lestat, and I'm like, no, not that one.
Oh no, that Lestat.
That one.
That exact Lestat. My theory is that Tommy Wiseau is Lestat. Here's why.
Hello, Anne Rice. How are you doing?
Lestat's story. He was a French noble born in 1760. Family disgraced and impoverished, becomes an actor in Paris. Kidnapped and turned vampire by Magnus, who then kills himself, which leaves Lestat as the heir to an inexhaustible fortune who goes on globetrotting adventures for the next several hundred years, including New Orleans in the late 1700s and early 1900s. Coincidences. Greg's conversations with Tommy's involved France, massive fortune, and New Orleans.
And vampires.
And I'll get to that. Anne Rice wrote her novel while living in San Francisco. Tommy's vision for Johnny, according to the disaster artist, in that fight scene with Chris R., Tommy wanted Johnny to drive his car off the roof and then for it to fly away.
Into the moonlight.
Into the moonlight.
Let's rewind this a second.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
In the fight scene. Oh, yeah, please.
It was maybe supposed to be a vampire movie, that's all.
Yeah.
He might have been also a vampire. That's
also, maybe Johnny is a vampire was the reason given for the flying
That's
car.
like verbatim. Yeah. Like a thing that he said is maybe also Johnny is a vampire.
So I'm rewatching this scene in my head where Chris R., which is what the fuck that name is, gets into a fight with Denny.
Yes.
Maybe a child.
Over drugs.
Over drug question mark. That originally was going to have Johnny
fly off the roof.
In his car.
Where was his car?
I don't know, but
The car was in the roof.
Maybe. Yeah. Sure.
Vampire, maybe.
He was a vampire. So he has a symbiotic relationship with his car, in which the car also has vampire powers.
I don't think people ask that many questions about Tommy's idea.
Jack's gonna be up for weeks thinking about the logistics.
Well,
this is how you rewrite the movies. You make it the vampire movie.
Well, I was just learning about the universe where Spider-Man is a cowboy.
Wait, what?
And his horse is also a spider cowboy.
The horse shoots webs?
No, that's for my one as well. As if horses need to be any more terrifying. Well, they have a very interesting spider sense. I'm glad you asked. So Spider Horse can see through the eyes of Cowboy Spider-Man and vice versa, thus giving them really good spider senses.
This is fucking absurd.
Listen, sometimes comics aren't good.
So yeah, this is basically Tommy in his car.
Yeah. So Tommy's car are akin to Cowboy Spider-Man and Spider Horse.
Yes.
But vampire.
But vampire.
So
glad I was able to wrap my head around
these coincidences. France, fortune, New Orleans, written in San Francisco, maybe Johnny's a vampire. Combine these with Tommy himself. His dream project was a movie called Vampire from Alcatraz, King of the Vampires.
Mm-hmm.
He has pale skin.
It's a better name than the room.
Yeah, right. He has like really pale skin, indiscernible European accent. Jokes about being a vampire very frequently. Absolute night owl. Would stay up all night long and wake up very, very late.
Yeah, Greg regularly refers to how like Tommy would just get another boost of energy at like 1 a.m.
Mm-hmm. And as a matter of fact, when they were arriving back in San Francisco after a really long road trip, Tommy wakes up as they're crossing the bridge in and says, "Vampire trick."
Mm-hmm.
He had this weird talent for like immediately falling asleep in a car. Like he would throw like a shirt or whatever like over his face, fall asleep in the car, and wake up immediately when they got to their destination. And he would look and go, "It's vampire trick."
So stack up all of these coincidences. It is a mile high. I looked at the evidence against Tommy being Lestat. I came up with 2 things.
Okay.
1, the accent. Greg's mom spoke French with Tommy.
Yes.
And then later said, he's not from France.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Tommy regularly goes out in sunlight, which, according to Anne Rice novels, would kill him. Right.
Yeah.
But the sunlight thing in Anne Rice novels is a recent contrivance.
Right.
Yeah. You know the history of this with Nosferatu, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. First shown in Nosferatu. Before that, it was just that vampires are diminished in sunlight. They aren't killed.
Oh, okay.
And Tommy
They have a really
He lives
bad
on
time.
Red Bull during the day.
lives on Red Bull during the
He
day.
does live on.
He's sluggish on set.
He
He
drinks
arrives
like an
late every
asinine
single
amount-
day.
Uh-huh.
He drinks like 6 packs of Red Bull.
like in a sitting.
God damn it, Vince.
So check off sunlight.
Yeah, I
that's
hate
not,
this.
That's not evidence against Tommy being Lestat. The accent. Maybe it's an older form of a Parisian accent. I cannot imagine the Parisian accent being the same in 1700 as it is in 1990.
I just assumed he had one accent, and then it kind of like got warped. The more he moved around and lived different places.
He's been
lived
alive
all
for
over-
hundreds of
yeah.
years.
Yeah.
So that evidence against
Why am
is
I adding to this?
extremely thin. The evidence in favor, really strong. The evidence against, so thin. I think Tommy Wiseau is an ancient vampire that lives the life of elegant depravity until deciding to make his masterpiece in LA in 2003. That's my theory. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you asked where his money came from. I think it came from Magnus after he killed himself.
So I can't disagree because you put too much thought into this and I've had too much beer. I am kind of rewatching Interview with a Vampire in my head while you're saying this, and okay, so Brad Pitt, he's the Brad Pitt character.
I think he's
It's a Tom Cruise
Tom
character.
Cruise.
Oh, it's Tom. Or yeah, sorry, yeah.
It's Tom Cruise is the stat, right?
Tom Pitt.
Correct, Tom Pitt.
Yep.
The Brad Cruise.
Christian Slater is Anne Rice. Then who is the Brad Pitt?
Oh, I don't know.
Who does Tommy Wiseau sire?
Oh, that's Louise, right? Or Louis?
Louis, yeah.
Greg Sestero.
Yeah.
Greg Sestero is Louis. Plantation owner in Louis. I'm now accusing Greg Sestero of owning slaves, which I'm not super comfortable with.
No.
Ooh.
That's
all right,
Anne
now
Rice's
we're
fault,
gonna
though.
take a break for commercials.
And we're back.
I have something I'm a little ashamed of. I don't remember if I first saw The Room with you or with my ex immediately before you.
I don't know either.
Really?
I don't know.
That's a fair point.
I mean,
have
I
no
saw
idea.
The Room in like high school.
Right.
So
So
I
you don't
know.
remember if I was your first, or if you were my first for Room viewings.
I don't think so. Yeah.
What
Wild.
matters is the memory you have of the time you spent together suffering through this film. Mine was with you fuckers.
Special kind of room trauma bonding that
Yeah.
happens.
I'm pretty sure my first time watching it was with you guys. I think.
It would make sense that I would introduce The Room to everybody,
You're
basically.
You're
Yeah.
the infections vector for this particular
That's what I've done.
set of people.
That absolutely tracks.
Yeah. So I know
But you caught it directly.
I did from the source. I don't like that I said that.
So you were bitten by Lestat.
I was bitten by Lestat. No, I went to one of the live shows, and there are live shows still. There is one happening in Pittsburgh, like next week
The 20th, yeah.
We're
Yeah.
going, right?
at Row House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm able to, I'd love to.
I'm not entirely sure if I can, but hopefully, fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
Well, I very much hope so because they're super fun. In predictable live show fashion, there's a lot of, call and response. I did say meanwhile in San Francisco every time there was a San Francisco transition because that's one of them.
You did say that, yeah.
I did find out that apparently a lot of the rituals began at the very first screening with Rousselet and Gardier, the two film students who found the poster for the room. This is how the room got famous.
Okay.
So
Tell us about that.
Yeah.
these two film students were the ones who saw the room was showing at a random theater in California, and on it was no refunds, and then it said what was the tag, the quote.
The tagline, at least the one that was up on the giant billboard, was, "Can you ever really trust anyone?"
Well, no, not on the billboard. When they went to the theater, it was no refunds, and watching this film is something.
Being stabbed in the head.
It's being stabbed in the head. That's
so
it.
yeah. So these two film students, of course, are fuck, that sounds amazing.
Well, I can't pass this up.
I
And-
disagree. The person who made this famous was the employee who wrote that.
That's also true. Yeah, I do think they knew what they were doing.
That box office attendant had no idea what they had done.
I mean, I choose to believe they knew, but those two film students saw it and they were like, "Holy shit, we have to tell everyone we know about this fucking masterpiece," and brought all their film friends to watch The Room, and they yelled a bunch of shit at it because how can you not?
Right.
So a few of the things, notably, it's there are some traditions that just kind of they translate to some places but not to others. So it's
Okay.
one of those things that's
Interesting.
some of the rituals happen, some shows they don't happen at all the shows. You definitely have to bring a giant 100 pack of plastic spoons to throw at the screen whenever the little picture frames with the spoons show up. You do get to throw spoons. You do play football in the audience.
Yep.
Whenever
I have heard
there
about
are
that.
footballs just flying whenever they're playing football on stage.
Okay.
Oh man, there's so many. I have to
So
remember
funny.
again, but
I've never been to one of these, so I'm really excited for what's coming, and also a little stage frighty about it.
I mean, it's Rocky. It's even less performative, I'd say, than Rocky Horror. It's much less
I went to one Rocky Horror and they drew a V on my forehead, and I felt really self-conscious for the
Yeah,
rest of the
you're
night.
you're good forever. After
right. So
that.
you're fine. You'll never have to do anything at a Rocky Horror show if you don't want to.
Yeah, you did it the once.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you don't have you don't have to get up or do anything.
You know what's funny about that is they assumed I wasn't a virgin the first time I went. They're like, "No, you're cool." And I was like,
They're there's no way.
"There's no way you've seen this before." And I was like,
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Wink.
So I did go to one of them in 2009 when they were first doing their live tour. So Tommy and Greg do go around the country. I don't know if they still do it. I feel like part of me wants to believe I think they still do sometimes.
I think I haven't actually seen anything about it, but I think I've seen people like nothing official, but I think I've seen people on Reddit and whatnot talk about that.
I kind of wonder because I know Tommy has other projects now.
Which is weird.
Oh, it's wonderful.
I was gonna ask that. Has he done anything since The Room?
Oh yeah, I've watched some of it. So yeah, I went to one live show, did meet Tommy and Greg. They all times did have at least 6 feet apart.
Yeah, paint us a picture.
Greg did not stand next to Tommy at all, not even once. They were always far apart. They didn't at 2009. So okay. Tommy walked up. He had as many belts as they say he does.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, is 2.
I think there were more than 2. So
it's at least 2. He's kind of a Kingdom Hearts character sometimes.
Yeah, he's got those big clunky metal, like...
Studded belts.
Yeah, he's got the studded belts, and he's got a few of them layered on top of his, like, skinny jeans.
Okay.
He wears skinny jeans now.
Oh, yeah, he wore, like, skinny black jeans.
Yeah,
and
2009, it was a style.
Oh, yeah, he had, like, a vest, he had the tie, but all the belts. And sunglasses at night. Did not take them off. So we were in DC. It was the theater was full-ish, but it was still not, like, packed. There was a line. We were at the front of the line, actually, I think, to get pictures taken and to meet and greet. So it was like, a decent group of us. One of the people in the group had a copy of the DVD, did ask Tommy to sign it by writing a poem on the DVD cover just for him. It was just lines from the room. It was just, if a lot of people love each other, the world would be a better place, I think was thrown in there also. I also think Oh Hi Doggy was part of the poem. I think that was the last line, actually. Oh Hi Doggy was the last line.
That's amazing.
I do wish I still had I wish I still had that DVD case, like if I remembered all of it. But we got pictures with him. I stood right next to him, next to Tommy.
How does he smell?
And it was 2009, so it was very much, I want to say it was like Axe. Mm-hmm. Like he was he's a
middle school man.
He was a middle school boy level of Axe.
No, that tracks. Yeah,
and
he's going for youthful all the time. So.
He also did scream when he put his arm here, and I was like, okay, and I put my arm like on his back, and he said, "Don't touch the hair."
Oh my god!
Screamed in the middle of the lobby of this fucking theater. Said, "Don't touch it." So
that's incredible.
That was my one-on-one experience with Tommy. I accidentally touched his hair.
Terrifying.
How did it feel?
Greasy. And definitely, like it looked like it feels how it looks. They did a brief little Q&A before the showing. People only asked, like, where are you from? How old are you? And he's like, I don't know. He was just like, don't worry about it.
Don't talk about me.
Don't worry about it. And yeah, Greg just looked miserable. I felt so bad. Like, honestly, I don't think I went up and talked to Greg, and I regret it now. I was just like...
Well, that was also pre-Disaster Artist coming out, if I'm not mistaken.
This is early days.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was like one of the first tours. So they were still like fresh off of the production, or not fresh off the production, but like it was
fresh off of the cult status.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Greg was like, fuck, this is absolutely my life forever now.
He's still kind of coping with the I'm this guy forever.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm Mark the rest of my life.
Yeah.
He hadn't fully accepted the fact that this will be on his IMDb forever.
Mm-hmm.
He hadn't had the time that the cast from Troll 2 had to adapt to that news for them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was my oh my god, so many, like, I was a junior or senior in high school, and I will never forget.
Wow.
Outstanding.
He screamed at a high school student.
He sure did. He screamed at a whole little group of high school children.
That was a lovely anecdote. Thank you for sharing that. I just was looking to see, here's some free advertising for Row House. The Room is playing at 10 p.m. on August 20th, Saturday.
Row House Cinemas in Lawrenceville, if you're here in Pittsburgh.
You're welcome, Row House.
Is this coming out before that?
No, this is coming out 10 days after.
So
I love that.
I hope you all
sorry.
enjoyed
you had a great time.
Can you leave this in the final cut?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's not a
100%.
problem at all. But I think there's actually two cuts of the film. One with slightly less fucking.
I think we saw the less tonight.
So
we saw the
Well-
longer version.
So the fucking scene was actually originally 6 minutes long.
How long was it? It felt very long.
It was 3.
Somehow it was only 3.
Yeah. Well, I think part of that is that they split it into 2 because there wasn't that second one between Johnny and Lisa originally.
Okay, right.
They also
Which
didn't
is
fully
why-
split it into 2. They reused a bunch
Yeah.
of the footage.
Yeah, you were absolutely correct that was reused footage. It was just more of the same footage from the first version.
The runtime for the one that's showing at Row House, or did show at Row House, I guess, is 91 minutes. I think the version we watched was The total was an hour 39.
It was an hour 39. Yeah, so that was that's like 8 minutes shorter or so. That's interesting.
Sorry, guys at Roadhouse, you saw less of Tommy Wiseau's ass.
Sorry for your loss.
So to kind of keep with the theme of this show, we're going to in this very hot and exhausting and semi-tipsy room try to fix Tommy Wiseau's The Room. I have 2 directions we can take with this, but first I need to get rid of his face because it's on my laptop.
Yeah, stop that. No, he'll glamour you.
I suddenly want to take my pants off.
You just want to get your balls more directly on that ice pack.
I do. It's so hot. I wear pants for company. Idiot. So there's 2 ways that I can see doing this. And there's one giant problem, which I think you can probably guess what that is.
I don't think I could pick just one.
Yeah, I know.
Well, the problem with fixing it is that we would have to get it out of the hands of Tommy Wiseau.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that can't happen.
No.
That also, like, production note wise, the editor, like I think you mentioned this earlier, Joe. The editor, anytime he tried to cut something, Tommy said, no, it stays in.
He literally would shout, "We don't cut anything."
Yeah, so that's basically an entirely uncut movie, is what we saw.
Like, they did some, like, minor trimming, I think, just to, like,
Sure.
pace, like, quote unquote, pace some things.
And they pulled the sex scene down from 6 to 3 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just everything they shot.
So remember last week when we did the $6 Million Man, and I said that when I watched the made-for-TV movie, there's a lot of scenes where they're just walking.
Yes.
And how we've evolved as storytellers from that to know that we, as an audience, understand that when you see a actor in one room and then you cut to them entering another room, we understand that they walked a distance.
It's really there's actually some irony to bringing that up now, because yesterday Emily showed us the first 2 episodes of Severance, and there's a lot of hallway walking in
Are they
that
walking
show.
and talking, or are they just walking?
No, it's just
No.
walking.
And it fucking rules.
It actually is
Beautiful.
great. It's bonkers. The way
Everybody
the fact
watch
that it
Severance.
works.
Everybody watch Severance.
I would like to. The point of showing the walking in older TV and older films is because they thought the audience was going to get confused about how an actor got from point A to point B.
Yes.
I'm going to guess that's not the point of the scenes in Severance.
No.
No, they're hilarious on their own.
Okay. Here's my 2 suggestions on fixing The Room. We can do the serious or the hilarious.
I guess, what's the serious? Let's start
Let's
there.
start serious.
Actually, my thought on it is it's already hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you do hilarious on purpose, it becomes bad again.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I'll get to it.
I'm willing to reserve that judgment, because I had the same thought initially, but I was like, wait, that might be a little bit knee-jerk, and this is Jack we're talking about.
I don't trust Jack that much.
You shouldn't.
Fair. But let's start serious and then go
Sure.
hilarious.
So either way, what needs to happen is that a major production studio needs to dupe Tommy Wiseau into selling his product. And then they reserve the right for a final cut.
Who would want The Room? What's left without Tommy Wiseau of The Room? There's literally nothing.
So he did try, like, pitching the idea to other studios or other filmmakers, and
but
no
like
one
the story,
fucking wanted
there's
it.
no story.
None.
There's nothing to
No.
pitch. Is what I mean.
I'm getting to it.
I trust
So,
you.
This is kind of like Trolls 2, where
I know you don't.
you don't change the... To change the movie at all is to take what is enjoyable about
Right.
it. So this is all hypothetical.
Of course.
Like, if any of you came to me and you're like, hey, Tommy actually really wants you to do something with this film, I would punch you in the throat. And then tell you, get the fuck out of my house.
Denny, why are you here?
He just likes to watch you guys.
Creepy fuck of a character. Jesus Christ.
So let's pretend that this is an assignment that we've been given, because there's no other way that I would do
Yeah.
it. So he has sold his movie finished to HBO,
Sure.
and HBO is like, hey,
We can replace Scoob with this.
We suddenly have a time slot open. We also have a Mr. Mark Frost, a good buddy of David Lynch.
Yeah?
Who needs a job.
What's Mark Frost doing these days?
Not much.
What's Mark Frost doing in 2002?
Wishing that they would redo Twin Peaks. Or do a third season. So, I don't know if any of you have like watched any of Twin Peaks: The Return.
Oh, not The Return.
Not The Return, no.
Or any of his movies. Like Twin Peaks: The Show is a little bit more audience friendly, which is weird to say because it's Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
But but his films are even less that.
Right.
They tend to be longer and ambient. A lot of sitting in the silence uncomfortably. So what I would, for The Return, for Twin Peaks: The Return, what he did is he picked up the story with certain characters, added in different characters, and there was like 16 different plots going all at once.
Sure.
That sounds like a fucking mess.
It was.
Yep.
But
David
it was I couldn't look away from it. Not just because it wasn't a train wreck. It's like my
David
brain
Lynch.
is trying to constantly put the puzzle together.
That's why you watch.
And that's why I watch David Lynch. Is like, can I put the puzzle together? And they gave him 16 episodes of an hour apiece to be his self.
Escape Room, the TV show.
Pretty much. I didn't make it the whole way through, but among people who enjoy that kind of crazy bullshit, they very much enjoyed it.
So I did pull up Mark Frost's writing credits on IMDb.
Mm-hmm.
Cheater.
He did not have a project come out in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
In that time frame, he had written a single episode of All Souls, which came out in 2001, and the 2005 Fantastic Four film.
Mark.
So he had some time.
He had some time.
He had some free time.
Because he obviously wrote that movie in a weekend, so...
He wrote it as a joke.
No one's gonna go for this. Oh, shit.
Shit.
Fox, no!
That's going to be on my IMDb.
Some asshole on the podcast is gonna talk about this later. Don't worry about what a podcast is.
So Mark Frost, David Lynch, they get a hold of Tommy Wiseau's The Room, and they cut it into portions and add it to a greater narrative about San Francisco in the, I guess, early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Everything slowed way down, and when you watch David Lynch, he likes to use character actors. He likes to take character actors and force you to sit with their mannerisms in a way that you either appreciate the actor or you're scared of them.
So, Tommy Wiseau and David Lynch are not that different. Because think about, what's his name? Mike, the lizard jaw guy.
Lizard jaw guy is absolutely a David Lynch character.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gecko Man for sure.
Yeah.
Something else that is related is, so that scene where a bunch of people were ordering like coffees and cheesecakes and shit before anybody else showed up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tommy insisted that every extra on set order something before the principal actors came in and did their shit.
That was such a weird scene.
Yeah.
But I
he
could also...
specifically requested, like he was like, "We're doing this scene."
So, actually, here's my question: would Tommy Wiseau and David Lynch and Mark Frost get along?
Absolutely not.
And there was one other hang up here in this, that in 2002 he was working on or releasing an asinine number of short films.
Oh.
Lynch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Probably all the Inland Empire stuff. Be my guess. He's fine. I think he's kind of the guy I think does like 6 different projects all at once.
I've always kind of assumed that he's unstuck in time. So
That's what he wants you to think.
This is actually going to happen now that like current day David Lynch has learned that we've suggested this. He will now go back. Well, we would think of it as going back in time. He's omnipotent, so he's just...
He understands time.
And we've already established this is a true crime podcast, so we're now conspiracy nuts.
So David Lynch, unstuck in time, goes
Right.
to talk to his buddy Lestat.
Right.
Yes.
You were saying they would not get along, and I'm curious.
I don't think they would because they both have ideas of what the art project should look like.
I was going to
and
say
are
very strong,
unflinching.
Oh, fuck,
strong
they would fist fight.
personalities.
They would fist fight.
This
They
is
would
an
fist fight.
immovable object and an unstoppable force.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, David Lynch divorced his wife because he couldn't stand the smell of her cooking.
Wow.
What a good guy.
I learned something today.
He did tell her.
I don't doubt that.
He's a sweetheart. He tried.
She wasn't open to the communication.
Write that on the divorce papers for why he shouldn't give up anything.
Oh my god.
I told her about it.
What? I said something.
That's why I think that it would almost be like a collage project for David Lynch where he's like, well, here's some of the raw material, the room, to add to the rest of your project.
Yeah.
And he would pick one of the random ass characters to continue throughout the rest of the series.
Chris R.
Fuck, it would be
It would
Chris
be
R.
Chris R.
God
You're
damn
all
it.
welcome.
Absolutely be Chris R. Thank you, Emily.
Because it's never a character I would want to see more of. But then I'm like, all right, yeah, no, he is kind of interesting now that I'm watching him.
He also was like the most professional actor on set. Like, people were kind of like scared of how good he was, and then also
He stayed in
scared of how
character the whole
angry
time.
he was.
Oh, yeah, he did method.
He methoded it a little bit.
The fucking
Yeah.
Chris R. character.
Yeah.
He methoded Denny?
Yep.
Sweet, creepy Denny?
He would just like pace around the perimeter of the set, just like cursing and like keeping himself
Just
angry.
keeping
until it
himself
was,
like
All right, yeah, he was in
jacked,
character.
basically.
That's the kind of actor that if we were on set, we're like, all right, don't go over there, just let him do his thing.
Right.
And then we send like some PA over there to let him know it's time for him to be on set.
No, you would send me over there to let him know it was time to
We
go.
didn't have any PAs.
Yeah, I know.
Line producer Greg Sestero.
So that would be my pitch for a serious show.
Okay.
I do have a thought for a funny one also, but I'll let
Cool.
you do your funny one.
So for funny, have any of you watched Darth Marenghi's Dark Place
Yes.
Yes.
with Matthew Berry?
Fantastic.
So again, a studio has duped Tommy Wiseau into selling the product.
Really, we just need to find a way to trick Tommy no matter what.
yeah.
How do you? Yeah, it's how do you talk Tommy Wiseau out of his own passion project?
How patient of a man do you think he is? Because I feel like if you made a large enough document where you buried into legalese, you do not get final cut.
No, I think
He wouldn't read it.
It doesn't. A, he would not read it, and B, he would literally just shout, "I disagree with you. I think you're wrong. I'm sorry."
But if he signs it, if you bury the "you do not get final cut"
Right.
somewhere deep down,
If it's like, if you take the first letter of each line of text and it spells "you do not get final cut," maybe he'll miss it then.
It's like
Yeah.
sub paragraph 18, queef number 14. This text is actually meant to be read one letter at a time in a descending order. And he's like, what does that mean?
yeah.
There you go. So that's what we did. And then we're like, hey, Matt, what are you doing? And he's like, okay, I'm not going to try that accent. All kinds of stuff. But what do you got in mind? And they're like, well, Matt, we just need you for like 3 days of shooting.
Fucking spectacular.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Your Tommy is terrible, but your Matthew Berry's pretty good.
So much like Darth Marenghi's Dark Place, the actual show is a show within a show.
Yes.
I think it's like author Darth Marenghi.
You keep saying Darth, and it's bothering
It's
me a
Garth,
lot.
yeah.
Garth
whatever.
is Garth Marenghi. Yeah.
Fucking amateur.
So Vader's Marenghi. So we have the sequel to Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, which is Garth Marenghi's The Room. And it's him talking about the time that he wrote a story in which he was a sub-character in The Room. Keep the room just as it is. We shoot extra material where Matthew Berry is in the scene somewhere being himself. And we digitally add him to the background of scenes.
Sitting in the background, eating a bowl of popcorn in the sex scenes.
Yeah.
Coaching.
Yes. What made me think of it was one of the really poorly misplaced sound effects that didn't.
The
Was the
broken
glass
glass.
I think it might have been the glass
Yeah.
shattering.
Oh, yeah,
My-
and that's your favorite.
It is one of my top 3 moments of that film.
It's very good.
Yeah.
And I saw a clip the other day where people were talking about how specifically from that show they love how the footsteps never match up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh yeah, you could probably make that work. Just film more material of Matthew Berry being a jagoff.
I just want that on a daily basis anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could really put him in anything I'm watching and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your idea?
Well, now I don't know if my idea would actually make it way worse. So
I'm on. Let's do this.
not worse, but just. So my thought is.
Hurt me.
Yeah. There's a lot. So this was made in 2002, which was prime Friends time.
Oh, yeah.
All of the like cityscape panning shots, all of the like, we're just a bunch of friends living in an apartment together. He was trying to make friends, I think. Part of what it was that he was trying to make friends. So throw in a laugh track.
Oh, God.
So, but like you can make it. But see, when I thought about throwing in a laugh track, that makes it so much worse to me. That just makes it so much darker.
Emily,
Yeah.
we talked earlier about Tommy's other projects.
Oh yeah, he has.
He made that sitcom.
He actually
The
did
Neighbors.
make.
You're
Shit, he
describing
made-
that.
What is it called?
The Neighbors.
It was The Neighbors.
I think it's called The Neighbors.
And
Damn it, you're right. It is The
and
Neighbors.
it sucked. It sucked so bad.
But this actually helps my serious idea.
Oh, okay.
So one of the short films that David Lynch was working on at that time that would have kept him from working on the Wiseau project was Rabbits, which was the most David Lynch thing that I could possibly say. It's a 3-camera setup sitcom where there is a family of rabbits, kind of anthropomorphic rabbits, made puppets, voiced by I think Naomi Watts and some other jags. But because it's David Lynch, there's this like very eerie, like the silence of like a wide open space, and they'll say things that don't actually line up with the laugh track, but then like the laugh track will trigger, but then cut off suddenly in the middle of it, and it's really uncomfortable. So thank you.
No, that's spot on. I love it.
Okay, so maybe The Neighbors could be done better, as in, like, Tommy doesn't have control of it. Somebody else who...
But then it's just friends. I don't want.
Yeah.
That's boring.
So, if I remember correctly, I mean, I feel like I blacked out through the episode of that I remember watching, but isn't Tommy supposed to be like the superintendent of the building, and he goes around checking on all the people who live in this apartment complex as neighbors?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I don't know why I remember that
It was
much.
deeply forgettable.
Yes, it was bad.
Yeah,
So
I
it was
watched.
not fun like The Room.
No.
Because he was trying to be funny.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the
you
thing that
ruined it.
happened... The thing that happened after The Room was,
This was a serious drama. This was like a
Yes.
hard-hitting drama, and he was like, "No, it wasn't."
I was
Yeah.
gonna ask that,
It's
yeah.
been a black comedy the whole time.
It's the best dark comedy of the century was like the new tagline on the DVD, but we know.
Yeah, that's absolutely not how he wanted it to be viewed.
I was gonna ask because we've watched the documentary on Trolls 2, and the director is like, no, it's scary. The actors are the ones that are wrong.
Troll 2.
Trolls 2.
Trolls 2.
World-
Trolls 2. Trolls World
Trolls
Tour is
2
a
is
very
now
different
a different
thing.
movie. Yeah, that's right.
We've had this conversation, Jack.
Listen, Darth Rangi disagrees.
Oh, God.
That fucking movie, the director
He
insists that it's serious.
He still, if I'm not mistaken, like refuses to acknowledge that it's bad or funny.
Yeah, to the point that he's not invited to conventions anymore.
Yeah, he's like caused a lot of problems.
Yes.
Like,
Oh,
listen to our episode on Troll 2 if you haven't. We talk about that for a good
Trolls
bit.
2.
No.
So he has only done or tried to do comedic projects since this?
I think
he did one. He did like a buddy movie.
Best Friends.
that was
It
Greg
called Best
Sestero's.
Friends. Was that Greg Sestero?
Yes, apparently it's still not good. I want it to be
Sure.
good because I really liked The Disaster Artist, the book, but it was Best Friends is Greg Sestero's project.
I did not realize
Was
that.
Tommy
Okay.
Wiseau involved?
Yes.
Yeah, he was a co-star.
Oh yeah.
It's
They're best
about
friends.
their deeply unsettling friendship.
So I had questions about this. So in the book, they compare it all the time to the relationship on The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yes.
That was the underlying thread throughout the book, is that they're like Greg
is Greenleaf.
Greg is Greenleaf and
Tommy's
Tommy. Yeah, no, Tommy was Greenleaf.
No, it's that Tommy is Tom Ripley and Greg is Dickie Greenleaf.
Yeah.
And that Tommy's Greg is afraid that Tommy's going to try to kill him. Tommy, however...
This is a through line in the book that you haven't read yet, and you absolutely should.
Well, the other problem is that as much as I've wanted to watch The Talented Mr. Ripley, I haven't, but I always get it, like, in my brain confused with Gattaca, which is a great movie.
Super different.
But very different, and they actually have like a pretty charming relationship in Gattaca, so I'm glad that it worked out for them.
Nice. I haven't seen either of these movies, so...
Yeah, but like the fact that they compare their relationship to that fucking movie, I don't know. The relationship's strange.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the reason I like the book so much is because it comes away with that Tommy is fucked up. I mean, we saw this movie, we saw all the like his views, not just of like what drama should be, but also of women. Yeah, like it's bad.
Deeply uncomfortable view of male-female relationships.
Yes.
Yeah. He did. I mean, he treated the women like shit on set.
Yeah.
Specifically, Juliet, like he treated her like fucking garbage.
Was she the one that played Lisa?
She played Lisa. Yeah. In particular, probably most disconcertingly was the sex scenes.
God damn it!
Yeah.
I'm like, I know you're going there. I'm just
open set.
Yeah, wide open set. Okay. He even like called people in and be like, "Hey,
he was like, everybody come down,
come on and help with lighting." And like, of course, there's no intimacy counselor. There's nothing that's going to make this like better for anybody.
There was no intimacy. He told her body looked like trash. There was beyond that.
He would like body shame her for like blemishes and just like the general way she looked. It was fucking awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made her cry, but she still did it. Which like I think they said in the book that was like she was really. Like
a trooper.
Greg felt terrible.
She needed money for her family.
Yeah.
Like it was really it wasn't that she was a trooper.
She was literally supporting her entire family.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a fucked up situation.
Yeah. So
can't wait to read it.
Yeah, no, the thing that comes away is like Tommy, not a good guy.
Right.
But also like the truest distillation of like trying to believe in your dreams. Like both of those things at the same time.
So like a childlike capacity.
Okay.
I think that's the only reason that they are still friends is because, and also the fact that like Greg will always be Mark. So if he can make some bucks on the circuit, like
so capitalism is the reason they're still together.
Possibly.
At least
it's
to
definitely
an
a factor. I would say.
Yeah, it's there.
It's kind of always here.
Okay.
Sadly.
Well, anything else?
No, I think capitalism will always be here. Is the way to end this episode.
I do also.
I also felt that weight.
Jack. I have something that might make you feel a little bit better. Tommy Wiseau did some voice work for Bee and Puppy Cat.
I don't know what that is.
It's an animated series.
I don't like it.
Was any of this fun, Jack?
No. I did enjoy cracking the mystery of Tony, in that he is a lizard in a human suit.
Tony?
What's his name?
Mike?
Or Tommy?
Tommy?
Did you?
No, no. I said
you
Tony.
You mean Mike?
I mean, they're all fucking white guy names. The lizard man.
The lizard man, Mike. Yes.
He's just lizard man. That's his name.
I've never enjoyed boobies less, which is really weird.
They were just uncomfortable scenes.
It was really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You could feel the labor disaster.
Right. Nobody wanted to be there.
You really
could. I was like, this is not. I'm glad I wasn't on that set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as we mentioned, the crew changed over several times because directors of photography would just fuck off with their crew.
I noticed several different like shooting styles, and I'm like, are they just trying something different in this scene?
Like it went from like an established DP to a film student DP to just a guy who had been there.
Mm-hmm. He was like, I mean, I'll do it. Yeah.
I assumed that at some point Tommy just jumped behind the camera, but
I don't think so.
No.
He's too busy writing and acting
producing.
I
like the part where it ended.
Yeah.
The last shot was baffling in a way that I kind of liked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, and he's like just dead in a sea of Kool-Aid blood.
It's that he's dead,
okay?
But he's like,
is everything okay?
Come into it. That's what I, as an EMT, roll up on the scene, see somebody dead. Is everything okay?
That moment is like it almost perfectly mirrors for me a history class that I took in 11th grade where we watched the Zapruder film, and we had just watched JFK's brains roll across the back of the limo, and Jackie like shove what was left back in. It is not a
fun watch.
No, it's not a fun watch.
And Tommy Wiseau is there in a babushka.
Yes, Tommy Wiseau's there in a babushka. Lestat is there in a babushka, and somebody in my class shouted, "Oh my God, did he live?" to which everyone in my class
What year was this?
This was 2004.
So you would have been a junior?
17. I was a junior in high school.
Oh.
Sweetheart.
So, no, everyone in my class turned to look at her like, "What the fuck did you just say?" And the teacher goes, "He was assassinated!" and she says to him, "What does that mean?"
Oh no!
Yeah,
the American school system has let down another.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Yep.
Thanks, America.
Well, thank you for joining us. / hosting. I'll do my best to not be this busy again.
So that this never happens ever again.
I'm not even sure what we would cover if it did. I mean, if we were to do another Troll 2 or The Room,
the Zapruder film.
No, God, Vince, no.
Actually, I got a lot of things to say about the Zapruder film.
No.
Join us next time in our 6-part series on the Kennedy assassination.
No, last podcast already did it.
Yeah, but they did it too well, and it kind of was long and.
Christ. Thank you all for joining us for this bit of madness here tonight. If you have not already, please subscribe to the show wherever you listen to podcasts. Please rate and review the show so people have an easier time of finding us. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Good Pods, wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on social media at DeRazzled Pod on Twitter, at DeRazzled Podcast on Facebook, DeRazzled_podcast on Instagram, and Dullboy_Jack on TikTok. Also, we have merch. You can look us up on Redbubble. It's DeRazzled merch on Redbubble, and there are 3 different designs of all sorts of assorted nonsense that that you can find there.
Jack assures me that the baseball tee does not feel like you're wearing a garbage bag.
Yes.
No, I didn't wash it before I put it on, though, so it smells very much like chemicals. So if you do order it, make sure to wash it first.
Wash it first, and it feels better than a trash bag.
Quality product.
Yeah.
More designs are in the works. If you have suggestions for a design or a suggestion for something you want to see us cover, email us at DeRazzledPodcast@gmail.com. And I think that covers all the things, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Make sure to join us.
Make sure to join us next time, where we are sure to...
Don't touch the hair!
Bye, everybody!
Bye, everybody!